Howdy, folks. Woody Walls from NeedCoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I've just left the cinema where I've seen a film. This is over there. And the cinema and the film, technically. And I'm going to tell you about it on my way home, because it's just easier that way. And today we're here to talk about Skyfall. Alright, so, synopsis, Skyfall. Luckily, well, I mean, because this is not the previous film, Quantum of Solace, you don't really have to know anything going to this film, except it's a James Bond film, which is how it should be. So anyway, it's a James Bond film, but in this case, there is a hard drive that has, and I'm telling you everything that's in the trailer, hard drive that has apparently a list of the names of NATO agents that are implanted into various and sundry terrorist organizations around the planet. Because of course that's exactly what you want to do, is put that on a hard drive and they can get out into the world. But be that as it may, this hard drive goes missing, taken specifically, and in the process of trying to get it back, James Bond takes a bullet, takes a dive, literally, and has to come back from being dead in order to save MI6 and, by extension, the world to a certain extent, but things proceed from there. There you go. Okay, so, the big question on everyone's mind was that after the badassery that was Casino Royale, you had what can only be construed as the difficult sophomore album known as Quantum of Solace. And basically what I take that as the same thing I jokingly say sophomore album, but really that's what was there. With bands, you have years and years and years in which to plan and refine and get 10, 12, 14, however many songs that are your best of your best, and you put those on your first album, and your first album is amazing. And basically, then everybody wants you to do the next album, like right then, because you've had a hit, and oh my god, we need more albums from you, please. So you rush it, and you screw it up, which is basically what Quantum of Solace was, because whereas Casino Royale was non-stop badassery, Quantum of Solace, I mean, when you're in a James Bond film, and the most awesome thing about your James Bond film is people having a conversation during an opera, I mean, for God's sake. So basically what I'm trying to say is that whereas Casino Royale was like Pearl Jam's 10, I would say Quantum of Solace was like Pearl Jam's Vitology. So you just skipped all the way there, right? Okay, so, so it's like, well, what are they going to do? And I think they sort of understood what we wanted from them, because the trailer very clearly made it clear that, that what we wanted, which was, James Bond, badass, ass kicker, was back. Now, what I find interesting about the film is that you start off running, which I think is the best way to do a James Bond film, and you have very big, crazy big James Bond stuff. Not like flying cars and crap like that, but you just have the bigness of it. Traveling the world, solving mystery, hunting people down, killing some of those people, everything that you want James Bond to do, right? But then it takes a very interesting turn in that it becomes very small and very intimate and very close up and personal. And it does sort of get slightly bigger towards the end, but it sort of becomes something that I don't remember seeing in previous James Bond films, because they were constantly big and loud and blue and lasers. But with this, it was a very different Bond film, a very different Bond villain, a variation on something that we've seen before, but still a very different version of that, not just because you've got Javier Bardem playing him, who is excellent in most everything, including this. Not just that, but it's written completely differently, and you get to spend a lot of time with Judi Dench as M, and spending a lot of time with Judi Dench is always a good idea, I would think. And you've got some additional characters who also factor in, who are quite good. So basically what the film does is it sort of resets the franchise to where you could pretty much do anything you wanted to do right now and just run in any direction you wanted to. And in fact, you could, I wouldn't because I think he's fantastic. You could replace Daniel Craig at this point, and I know that Cosette is crying behind the camera at the thought of it. I know, I don't like that idea either. I would love to see him hang around for as long as he wants to hang around. But I'm just saying, this would be a great getting off point if you had to get off. I don't want him to, but I'm saying I could see where that would work, because a lot has changed, and yet a lot has been set up for future iterations of the character and the franchise, which is all good. So I don't know, was very happy with most everything. Ben Whishaw makes a great Q. Ray Fiennes is great. Naomi Harris, I'm glad to see her in this. So you got a bunch of people who are a really excellent cast, really well written, very tight, and very pleasing. Like I said, it is a different sort of Bond film, but it is still very much a Bond film, and very much a new flavored Bond film, i.e. more book than the previous films and whatnot. And I would say, I think this is what James Bond films should be more like structure-wise, in that they tell a continuing story, but they're more disconnected than, say, Quantum of Solace was with Casino Royale. So, while I'm very happy with the film, and while I'm very pleased that I saw it, in fact, saw it on IMAX, because, I mean, you just want a film like that to just punch you in the face, large. While I was very pleased with seeing it, I would like to see more sort of along these lines. I would like to see people run with it. And by the way, it's shot beautifully. I mean, just, you've never seen people creeping up on a house so beautifully shot as in this film. I kept being distracted from, oh, they're hired killers, but God, they look amazing. So I was very happy with with pretty much the whole package. I still think I like Casino Royale better, because, I mean, it sort of just completely kicked my ass, which I sort of like from a Bond film, but it's worlds better than Quantum of Solace. So if you're worried about that, worry no more, you will be pleased. So, yeah, cup-wise, I would say, I don't know, I'll give this like a solid 4 out of 5, you know? It did deliver, and it delivered in spades. And it actually, in some places, over-delivered. It took me to places that I wasn't expecting to go, but I was very happy when I found out I was there, and I bought a snow globe. So yeah, I would recommend Skyfall. Catch it if you can. I mean, if you don't catch it on IMAX, you're not going to hurt yourself. It was just fun to see on IMAX, because we're sort of Bond junkies, Cosette more than myself. But no, I mean, do catch it. Always, you know, do catch it. Catch a matinee if possible, simply because we always like you to save a few coins here and there when you can. But do check it out. And, you know, they say James Bond will return. Of course it's going to return. I was just looking at the box office. It's already done like $88 million domestic alone, and 50 gajillion overseas, because it's a James Bond film. And if there's anything that is going to sell overseas, it's a freaking James Bond film. I don't know why I'm saying overseas. It came from the UK, so it's actually an import for us. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so yes, do catch it, and we can't wait for James Bond. What's the next one? 24? I have no idea. Not 24 as in he's going to team up with Kiefer Sutherland, but I'm asking if it's the 24th film. I don't remember. So anyway, as always, thanks so much for watching these. If you do enjoy them, we ask you to please share them with a friend or a colleague. And as always, if you do want to help us out, to help pay for things like, say the tickets, which are expensive, even for IMAX, even before noon, they're still expensive. Needcoffee.com/support is where you can go and help us out. And we appreciate everybody who's been doing that as we go along these. It makes life a lot easier. So we will see you next time on the Wayhomer Reviews. Bye.